Hello, and welcome back to the podcast where you are invited for lighthearted conversations about things that matter as you seek to live your most meaningful, beautiful, and joyful life. I'm your host, Dr. Edie Wadsworth, and I hope you enjoy your stay here at the House of Joy. Y'all will not believe this if I tell you this is my third attempt to record this podcast, and the title of the podcast will tell you that it's all about resistance. So it's crazy. Today we're going to talk about the thing you're avoiding and why you shouldn't avoid it anymore, because that's where your power is. And I literally have been trying to record this podcast for the last hour and a half. So I'm just praying that it gets out there today. When you experience a lot of resistance, you know the message really needs to get out there, y'all. So welcome back to the House of Joy. I'm so glad you're here. I'm always so honored when you take time to listen. Today is really going to encourage you, maybe be a little bit convicting. I hope so, because some of you need to get your workout in the world, need to get your message out in the world. You're facing something that you've got a lot of resistance to, and I want you to know that I've got some help for you today. I've got my favorite tool to overcome resistance in my own life. I'm going to share a story of how I have recently experienced a lot of resistance to the thing that I knew wanted to be born in me, and how I overcame that, and some tips for how you can do the same. So my question for you is, what have you been resisting? What is calling to you to be born in you? What have you been saying no to for far too long? What have you been making maybe excuses about? Well, I will tell you that I've been doing all of this. So this is kind of going to be one of those preach to yourself moments, because I'm going to be telling on myself a little bit, but I'm going to pull back the curtain and share some behind the scenes, little bit vulnerably, of how resistance has come up for me. I thought, I've been creating stuff for long enough that I probably shouldn't be experiencing resistance anymore. But I really do think that the thing that we have the most resistance toward doing, the thing that we're avoiding, is probably the thing that holds so much purpose, so much power, and so much joy for you if you will work through it and get over it and just do the thing. So let's talk about resistance. Now, one of the books that I have learned this from that I love so much is Steven Pressfield's The War of Art. This book, I have a stack of books, a short stack of books in my office that I keep down here all the time, that I go through all the time. And this book makes my short stack. I read it once or twice a year, but I pull it out all the time and just read pages of it, chapters of it. It's the way he writes it is really short. So on one page, there might just be like a paragraph. On one page, there might be one sentence. I love his style of writing. So if you never read the book, I highly recommend that you read the book. But if you're like me, there are things in your life that you're resisting. There are things that you know you want to do, that you have had on your bucket list forever, that you keep saying maybe next year. You give yourself a million excuses. That sort of sneaky, I'll do it later voice. And whether for you, it's like cleaning out your house, or writing a book, or launching a program, or having a conversation. It doesn't have to be anything big. Anything that when it comes up for you, you feel it. You feel that resistance. And Steven Pressfield talks about this a lot in his book. And he says, resistance will tell you anything to keep you from doing your work. It will perjure, fabricate, seduce you. Resistance is always lying and is always full of crap, except Steven Pressfield cusses in his book. He also says resistance shows up strongest right before something sacred. Let me tell you something, y'all. So when I first created Life Mentoring School, almost 6 years ago, this is going to be our 6th year of this coaching program membership. I can't even believe it's been that long. When I started it then, I didn't have a ton of resistance to starting that program, because I just knew what I needed to do. It felt long overdue. I was so excited about the curriculum that I was sharing. And then the next big thing that I created was a coach certification program. So we have now about 400 coaches that have been certified by us. I am in love with this program. For most of our coaches who get certified, this is their first certification. This is their first time to learn these life-changing tools. It feels so I don't want to say easy because there's a lot of work that goes into it from my team to deliver it. But it feels, I mean, literally, it feels frictionless. Maybe that's a better word to deliver it. And I love that program. We started that program, I think, about 3 years ago. And I have been feeling for a long time like I wanted to create a master coach program. And I have talked about this. If I go back, I have a business coach that I've had for 3 years. And if I go back to the first time that I mentioned on one of her calls that I wanted to start this program, until the time that I started it, so many times, and I would bring it up and I would get coached on it, and I had so much resistance around it. And you say, well, Dr. Edie, why did you have so much resistance around it? Of course, you should create a program like that. It's like the next natural step. But I had all this drama around it, all this fear. Who am I to create a master coach program? I'm not even master coach certified myself. So is that even legal? Can I even do that? But in the years between when I gave up my medical practice until I started my coaching program, it was about a 10-year span. And in that 10 years, I studied so much, you guys. I could have gotten a seminary degree. I studied theology like crazy. I audited courses in the great books. I took Greek mythology from Stanford. I took a class, just a whole course on the Odyssey. I read every C.S. Lewis book. I read most of G.K. Chesterton's books. I literally gave myself the most incredible great books education. And while I was doing that, I got really, really into feminine leadership. I wanted to know everything God had to say about women. I'm like, man, he made us in this crazy way. And we have all these unique gifts. But, there was all this confusion about how we should use our gifts. And so I just wanted to learn everything that I could learn about it. And so I spent 10 years doing that. And this curriculum has been bubbling up in my heart that I wanted to develop, that I wanted to teach on what I felt like were the laws of divine feminine leadership from a Christian perspective. I had seen people do this from a way more secular perspective, but I really wanted to study it from a scriptural level. And so anyways, I had been developing the idea for this curriculum for a long time. And so I thought to myself, oh, I could teach this curriculum and I could teach coaches more advanced coaching concepts. I could, facilitate letting them practice coaching because I have this membership of people who would love to get one-on-one coaching. It just felt like everything was in place for me to do it. And I kept putting it off. And I kept having fear around it. I just didn't feel quite settled about it. And I would get coached on it from my coach. I would do journaling about it. I talked about it incessantly to certain people. I'm sure the people in my life were like, would you just create the program already? And the other thing that happens when you feel like something wants to be born in you, but you're not sure. You're not sure how people will receive it. Like, does anybody really want to at this stage of life? Because most of my clients are women in midlife. Do they really want to go through another training? Maybe they just went through coach training. Do they want another advanced training? Is it something that is feasible in the marketplace? I just had all of these fears and all of these questions, but it would not go away. Let me say that again. The idea would literally wake me up at night. I would have more ideas for what I needed to put in the curriculum, but I had no place to share the curriculum yet. And so, during this time, I'm reading different parts of Steven Pressfield's book. I'm going to read you this page in the book. I think it's on page 40, but it talks about the fear because I had a lot of fear. Like, well, is anybody going to want it? Who am I to do it? I don't know. I just had all kinds of issues about it. I love this. I love what he says here. Are you paralyzed with fear? So think about yourself and the thing that wants to be born in you, the thing that won't leave you alone, the thing that keeps coming up for you. You guys, I had this almost exact same thing around adoption. I always knew that I wanted to adopt. It always kept coming up for me. So you probably have something like that for you too. So listen in. Don't hide from it. Just listen. Are you paralyzed with fear? Pressfield says that's a good sign. Fear is good. Like self-doubt, it's an indicator. Listen closely. Fear tells us what we have to do. Resistance is experienced as fear, and the degree of fear equates to the strength of resistance. Therefore, the more fear we feel about this specific thing, the more certain we can be that it's important to us and to the growth of our soul. Now, I want to tell you something that has happened to me. I did finally, by the way, create Master Coach training. And my first round of Master Coach students have 1 month left in their training. And I have had several of my own coaches tell me in the last few months, like, I notice a shift in you. Your coaching is more powerful. It feels so gifted. It feels like you're in some kind of zone. I had somebody tell me today, this literally brought me to tears. She said, I really wasn't, I don't think she was really even thinking possibly about doing Master Coach training, but she's been listening to some of the calls that I've been doing about it. And she said, the way you bring together all of these philosophies of thought, this psychology, theology, she said, it's unlike anything I've experienced. I mean, what she said about it brought me to tears, but I have been feeling that, like feeling so activated by what I've watched go on in the last few months in this program, what I've watched my clients do, how I've watched them step up to a whole new level of their lives. So talk about soul growth. We've had it in spades in this program. I'm so thankful that I finally overcame my resistance about it. Hey guys, I'm so excited that this episode is sponsored by Good Ranchers, a brand that I can fully get behind. I know you've noticed your grocery bill creeping up with tariffs, inflation, and rising costs. Feeding your family quality meat is more expensive than ever. So here's the question: why not protect your meals and your money? At goodranchers.com, you get 100% American meat that's tariff proof, so you never have to worry about unstable prices again. Plus, Good Ranchers helps you save big. Their American-only supply chain shields you from price hikes. Their vacuum-sealed, pre-portioned cuts prevents freezer burn and food waste, saving the average family $500 a year. And their meat is pre-trimmed, so you're only paying for what you actually eat. More value, less waste. Here's the best part. Right now, you'll get $40 off your order and free meat for life when you subscribe. Yes, free bacon, ground beef, salmon, or seed oil-free nuggets in every box for as long as you stay. So don't wait. Go to goodranchers.com and use the code JOY at checkout. That's goodranchers.com, promo code JOY. Good Ranchers, American meat delivered. Whatever it is for you, the fear, the resistance is not a sign that you're off track. It's a sign that you're bumping up against something that really matters to you, something that's holy, something that's going to cause soul growth, something that requires your full self, something that could change everything. And even when I first started the program, I kept having a resistance. I was like, oh, this is harder than I thought, because those first coaches who get certified in my first certification, everything feels like such an epiphany. Everything's amazing. When you go to the next level of transformation, it feels harder. It feels like, oh, we've got to be willing to face some of our deeper fears. One of the things that I'm having them do in this program is to do a master's project. And that has brought up all their junk. And literally, I don't know, a month into it, I felt dysregulated. They all felt dysregulated. We were all like, what are we doing here? This is hard. But what I knew is that if we would keep going, I did feel like, no, we need this growth. I want there to be coaches in the world who put themselves in situations like this where their growth is required, where they have to step into the next version of themselves, where they have to live full out, where they have to come up against obstacles and fear and resistance and self-doubt. And I have watched them one by one do this and create incredible, amazing legacy projects that, creating things in the world that didn't exist before. And I've watched them bump up against this resistance and overcome it. And I know that for all of you, there's something like this there, something that you've been wanting to do that keeps coming up. And I just want you to know that it's not by accident. And I don't want you to keep ignoring it. So when I could feel God stirring me to do this, I had all of these reasons why I didn't want to do it. Like, yeah, it's going to take time away from my regular membership, possibly. And, why would I do that? Why am I going to put myself into a brand new program and under all that stress to create something brand new when I don't really need to do that? And I found myself frozen and stalled, finding other things, more important to do. But I finally stopped running away from it. I finally admitted, no, I really want to create this because I want to. And I tuned back into my desire. And this is how I think you most powerfully overcome resistance. You decide to create desire. I wanted this program to exist. I don't know of anything like it. I wanted this curriculum on divine feminine leadership from a biblical perspective to exist. I wanted coaches who were trained in my coaching tools to have this extra master coach training where they coached a bunch of clients, where they got coached themselves, where they did this master coach project, where they submersed themselves in this curriculum. I wanted these women to experience this, and I wanted to be the one to pour into them. I wanted to go all in. And when I finally tuned into and created desire, when I finally gave myself permission to create it because I really wanted to, that is what finally pulled me out of my resistance and pulled me into action and into motion. And I am not kidding you. It has been a whirlwind, you guys. Desire is so much more powerful than fear. It's more powerful than doubt. It's more powerful than procrastination. It's more powerful than what will the people think, right? Desire is how God pulls us forward. The way through resistance is not just by gritting your teeth and willpowering yourself. It's desire. It's connecting back to that soul level desire that you have to create something in the world maybe that didn't exist before, to do something that you've always really wanted to do. And it's the longing to become the woman who created that thing. It's the pull of creation over consumption. It's the pull of your calling over your comfort. I am so thankful that I created this. I get teary-eyed thinking, oh my gosh, we only have a few weeks left. And these amazing women have stepped up to this call. They have chosen calling over comfort. They have chosen fire over fear, because I'm telling you, about halfway through this program, something in me just cracked open. I do feel like I'm operating at a new level now. I do feel like my capacity has grown. I do feel like this program was created from so much inspiration and so much desire. And I feel like it has been a little bit like a wildfire, kind of slow to start, but really catching on. And I see it catching on in my students. And I want you to catch a little bit of that fire for whatever you want to create. What happens when you do this is that you come alive in ways that you could never have imagined. When you are creating something that you know you were called to create, it enlivens you in a way that it's hard to express unless you've done it. And to think that I almost let resistance steal this from me. So I want you to think about, for you, what is this? I'm going to read you another little section of this book because, man, you just got to go get this book, y'all. It is so good. Oh, this one I love so much because I often think of this as something that wants to be birthed in you. Like, it's because it's labor to bring something new to life. And he compares this, he talks about this on page 156. And he says, the act of creation is by definition territorial. As a mother-to-be bears a child within her, so the artist contains her new life. No one can help her give it birth. Neither does she need any help. Now, let me tell you, it took a lot of coaching my clients to assure them that they didn't really need my help with their project, that they already knew what needed to be created and that they were the ones to create it. I love this sentence, you guys. The mother and the artist are watched over by heaven. Nature's wisdom knows when it's time for the life within to switch from gills to lungs. It knows down to the nanosecond when the first tiny fingernails may appear. The artist and the mother are vehicles, not originators. They don't create the new life, they bear it. This is why birth is such a humbling experience. The new mom weeps in awe at the little miracle in her arms. She knows it came out of her, but not from her, through her, but not of her. When the artist works territorially, she reveres heaven. She aligns herself with the mysterious forces that power the universe and that seek through her to bring forth new life. By doing her work for its own sake, she sets herself at the service of these forces. Well, I would call these forces God. I just love that because I just love that line about heaven, that the mother and the artist are watched over by heaven. So, for whatever it is for you, the thing that you keep circling around, the dream you keep putting off, the conversation that you know you need to have, the page you need to write, the room you're scared to step into, what if that very thing is the doorway to something so holy, to your next favorite season? I can say for sure, this has been one of my favorites. It's been hard though. Like, I feel like I've been fighting for it, but now I'm starting to see the fruit, and I'm so thankful that I did it, that I worked through the resistance, that I created the desire that I wanted to create in order for this program to exist in the world. What if you let your desire be bigger than your resistance? And desire doesn't mean it will be easy, but it means you will be alive, on fire, awake to what wants to be born in you. I'm going to finish with this last page from this book. Again, I hope I've convinced you to go buy it, but this last page is so inspiring. He says, "Are you a born writer? Were you put on earth to be a painter, a scientist, an apostle of peace? In the end, the question can only be answered by action. It may help to think of it this way. If you were meant to cure cancer or write a symphony or crack cold fusion and you don't do it, you not only hurt yourself, even destroy yourself. You hurt your children, you hurt me, you hurt the planet. You shame the angels who watch over you, and you spite the Almighty who created you and only you with your new unique gifts for the sole purpose of nudging the human race 1 millimeter farther along its path back to God. Creative work is not a selfish act or a bid for attention on the part of the actor. It's a gift to the world and every being in it. Don't cheat us of your contribution. Give us what you got." Now, I want to tell you this. As I have watched my first students in Master Coach training fight through their resistance, fight through the obstacles, the fear, the self-doubt, create their projects, I was able to witness today the first book self-published on Amazon as a result of this program. There are 3 published podcasts that I know of as a result of this program, things that did not exist in the world, new social media accounts. We'll have more books being released, new programs being released that will be out there helping people. And I am so proud of my students, and I am so thankful that I've been resisting this program for however long, probably 2 years or more, and I'm so thankful that it finally exists in the world. So, what is the thing you're avoiding? That's where the power is. The clarity, the joy, the breakthrough, it's all right there for you if you will create desire, overcome the resistance, and create the thing that wants to be created. Okay, I love you so much. I hope this nudged you along and gave you a little bit of a pat on the behind to get going on the thing that you know you want to create in the world. Let me just say this, by the way. We are enrolling for our next class of Master Coach training. I am doing a webinar this Friday. So if you're already a coach, or if you're a coach trained by me or not trained by me, we are actually opening this round up to other coaches trained in other programs. All of the details for the program, when it will run, everything about it, I'll be giving this Friday. So just head to edwadsworthcoaching.com/certification and you'll get the link to join us on Friday. Okay, I hope you have a great rest of your day. I love you, and I will see you next time. Bye for now.